Hello, friends, and welcome back to WSSEA. My name is Yarko. I'm here with Hot Sauce, and we're diving into another wonderful week of Overwatch 2. This time, it is Lincoln High School Tacoma versus Silas High School in Hot Sauce. I am so excited to be here alongside you. It is a privilege, it is an honor, and we are about to get some fantastic Overwatch action.
Oh, I couldn't be more excited myself as well. And, we've got to see Silas on stream at least once before. I believe they're currently 1-0. So going to be taking on Lincoln High School here tonight. And again, I'm just excited to get right back into it. These high school games are so much fun for me because a lot of times, yeah, there are some metas here and there, but a lot of times we see these kind of players break away from these metas and just play characters that they are comfortable with. So it's refreshing just to kind of see some different Overwatch than what we might be used to.
Absolutely. That being said, a lot of people are following back upon the things that bring them to victory time and time again. And while that sometimes is comfort, at the same time, Hot Sauce, one thing I have been surprised by is the capacity for teams to go for counters, to go for things that are responsive, and for things that specialize in one format of a map versus another format of a map. So we're going to see exactly what the balance being struck here is going to be between Silas and Lincoln Tech. But before we get started, I think it's best that we go over and thank the sponsors that help bring WSSEA to the masses. So first, of course, we got to give a shout out to ZOTAC. They are this fantastic company that have done so much to empower this level of esports and beyond. They really help to get on the ground and ensure that everything is running smoothly. And so in order to really shout these guys out and showcase what they're bringing to the table, make sure to follow them on social media and feature them on social media. And you can do so by using the hashtag powered by ZOTAC or ZOTAC USA when you post.
Yeah, we love ZOTAC over here. I believe you can hit ! ZOTAC in chat for more info as well. And of course, we definitely want to say thank you to Seattle Built PCs as well for their continued support over here at WSSEA. Seattle Built PCs are custom PCs builders trusted by the pros since 2020. They've been crafting incredible rigs for world famous esport players, content creators with millions of fans, and even developers of your favorite games. So we certainly want to thank Seattle Built PCs for that here today. And of course, it wouldn't be complete without LANFest as well. LANFest has been building healthy communities through gaming forever. 23 different chapters across 18 states, over 150 different events a year. So we encourage you to go to lanfest.com and hope to find an event near you.
I love that little orca. Super happy that we got it back on the stream here, Hot Sauce. Always have wondered whether or not Seattle Built PCs ever named that guy, so that's going to be something to keep an eye on. Ooh, we got a lobby open here, and we got to hover onto Hanaoka. This is one of the newer maps and one of the newer modes here, Hot Sauce. And I got to say, as someone still trying to get reoriented with Overwatch right now, I haven't really gotten a read on this, but can you talk us a little bit through what Clash has to offer?
Yeah, I've gotten to play a little bit of Clash, and honestly, it's kind of becoming one of my favorite things. I typically like the hybrid or the escort mode more. It just kind of gives me that traditional Overwatch feel, at least when I'm playing. I typically don't like the controls, and I really don't like Flashpoint as either. I know we differ on that a little bit, but for whatever reason, I really love Clash. It kind of adds a little bit of that control point aspect, but basically these teams are starting off on two separate sides, working toward that center, and then eventually into the opposing team's territory. So you have to capture these points in succession. You can't kind of go out of order and get one that's deeper back or anything like that. So there's a lot of really just straightforward clashes, a lot of big battles up front in your face. So it's just a lot of fun action.
Absolutely. Love these modes that really focus upon these skirmish style fights. We really saw them continue to try to push the meta in this direction, not only in terms of balance, but also the introduction of modes like Clash. Before this, of course, it was Flashpoint, which I think also was quite action-packed here. So for those of you who likes violence, we are eating good here in the Overwatch world. Now, before we get into things here, Hot Sauce, I do want to note, Lincoln High School, that is the sickest high school logo I think I've ever seen in my life. Oh my God, that goes hard.
Yeah, it is pretty sweet. It's almost like a zombie Abraham Lincoln there or something. I don't know. He's looking pretty mean though. It looked like they means business. So we'll see if that kind of transfers over to the play style here. And again, I think for me the most interesting thing is just going to see what these students are going to play with. Are they opting to go a little toward the meta? Are there other players that they are comfortable with? I know typically in the past we've seen the Lucios, the Junos, Orisa obviously is here quite a bit recently, but we have been blessed with some Sigmas, some Ramatras in there as well. So again, I'm just looking forward to seeing what everybody's going to go with here.
Absolutely. You know, I've been over on that PIEA stream that you introduced me to, Hot Sauce, and there the meta is quite interesting when it comes to the Overwatch world. You know, we're seeing a lot of people funnel Amalga with things like a Mercy behind them. Now, I think that at this level, play is a little bit more elevated, where that is in the end all be all of the tank meta, but it could also just be a dynamic that you continue to see, particularly in something like Clash, where oftentimes fights and pushes could get a bit chaotic. You want a team composition that incentivizes playing together. I think that dive is in particular something that a lot of people are still really trying to negotiate within their own play style, because it is one of those compositions that, while incredibly powerful, requires a lot of coordination. Sometimes it's good to just take that off the mental stack, play something that's a little bit more unga bunga, you know, just run on in, whole team is behind you. So we're going to see what the dynamic is going to look like here. That being said, there's been some sick Doomfist players within the realm of WSSEA as well that I would also love to see come to the table here. One thing to note is when you look at these rosters as well, Hot Sauce, there is a lot of potential for people to get subbed in and out throughout the course of this best of 3. So on the side of Lincoln High School Tacoma, I know that they got a full stack of what looks like 8 players in total. Right now, we're seeing 5, I believe, headed by Silly Little Goob there, although I can't really read all those letters super well right now.
Yeah, you know, and I felt like for a moment maybe you were living in my head there, because I was actually about to say something about Doomfist as well, and it's just there's always something fun about watching a really, really good Doomfist. But you know, I think those brawly comps do very, very good in Clash up front here. I think that, you know, if you're comfortable with the dive compositions, they can excel here as well. I haven't seen as many poke compositions, but again, Clash is still new, so it's not to say that something like that wouldn't work.
Well, it's been one of those big debates that you see throughout the course of Overwatch 2, still standing at that 5v5 mode, where I know a lot of advanced players will say, actually, I don't think poke exists anymore, outside of maybe playing Sigma, but because you can't really create such a definitive front line, the ability for any individual character to dive is that little bit higher here. And on Silas' side, which is going to be red, it looks like we are maybe getting some connection issues. But regardless, what I do want to focus on is the fact that it is, in fact, Silly Little Goob over there getting that Doomfist.
Yeah, we're going to see some Doomfist action here early. And, you know, honestly, on the other side, we see a Reinhardt, which we don't get to see a lot of at times here, at least with those other modes, but interesting enough to see here. And I think can do well. I mean, you're up front, you know, you're finding these head-on-head clashes, if you will. And so Reinhardt able to absorb a lot of that damage, kind of mitigate it away and still apply a lot of pressure. Unfortunately, Silas, I believe, playing without a player at the moment.
Yeah, we're going to see what happens for Silas's side here. Maybe a call for a timeout regardless. Being down one of your healers is not a great look. Foxheart going onto the Moira are going to try to shoulder a lot of the responsibility, but this doesn't seem to be deterring the side of Silas whatsoever. The Reinhardt is trying to get right on in there, holding 2 off on the staircase. Rocket Charge going forward. Taka trying to get free damage across the corner, able to pick up the health back. That being said, Warringly close to getting booted off there. Looks like they are able to get to safety and clean on up. That's why you don't take a 4v5.
Yeah, you know, it's just a tough position to be in, but what do you do? I mean, you're kind of forced to take a 4v5 at this point because you just don't have that other player loaded in. Now, on the other hand, you don't want to be caught too far forward and find yourself in a stagger. Godslayer right now is kind of cheating dangerously far forward here at the moment.
The problem is far forward for the side of Silas is anywhere outside their spawn, and that just comes down to the fact that you are down the critical member. Now it is a 3v5, Godslayer having to get back on up. And notably, while this is all happening, even if the last player does connect to Silas, they are losing out on ult charge. The only person who is ahead of the curve for the red squad is Dingo at this point in time. Iroh going incredibly low here on the Brigitte, able to use that shield bash to get to safety. Silly Little Goop, though, needs to get topped up here, really in a difficult position, trying to get back out away from the enemy. Foxheart been picked up, though, and that means that slowly you're going to see everybody on the red squad once again trickle out towards death, and that is a complete team wipe.
Yeah, team kill coming in, and unfortunately it's one of those things that's kind of expected here from Lincoln, as they do have that player advantage in a game like Overwatch. It's really important to have the whole crew there. Everybody kind of has a role to fill, but Silly Little Goop coming in, the Doomfist already putting in early work. They're going to find another pick here on the Godslayer, and again, they're just going to kind of push their way in, just having that player advantage.
this is a really rough position to be in. I'm not really sure about Foxheart swapping over to Lucio. My favorite character, as you know, but at the same time, this is not a character that puts out a ton of healing, and so perhaps it's not the best hero to optimize towards when you're trying to do 2 players healing as one. Right now, what this is leading to is the Lucio dying early in this one because the maneuverability is silly little goob, and unfortunately the remaining 3 players of Silas just are unable to leverage anything. That being said, this could be a chance to strike. Alexander on the side of Lincoln is currently dead here, but Taka is going to be able to shoulder the burden using that Dragon Blade, and now the Soldier 76 is back up, able to sprint towards the battlefield and has the Tactical Visor available. Now we are going to see Bodemon from the side of the red team be able to take the disguise here onto the Juno. Still a very awkward position overall. This is a deep shove continually held over to Lincoln.
Yeah, and this is tough, right? Silas was the team that we saw earlier that was now 1-0 on the season, so not really suffering a loss just yet, but now having to do it with a player down here as well, and so it's just tough to deal with, especially on Clash here as well. And Lincoln's going to push in a nice little storm through. They're going to be able to take map number 1.
Absolutely speed running it. This is one of the things. Usually this mode is a little bit more back and forth, and that is what prolongs the game time, but unfortunately just unable to sustain here in the 4v5. We're going to look at a play of the game coming through from silly little goo who I hope we get to see in a more even hand here going forward. This Doomfist looked quite impressive, but of course, Hot Sauce, it's very hard to not look impressive when you're in a situation where you're just up a player and able to dominate.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I was having a little issues here and there, Narco. I think your mic might be cutting in and out just a little bit, unless maybe it's on my end. I don't want to judge too quickly here.
Hot Sauce, I cannot hear you right now. I don't know if this is an audio issue on my end or your end, but regardless, we are in fact back in the lobby here. I'm trying to get recovered on all fronts.
All right, maybe we got it worked out here a little bit, Nyarko.
Hello, hello.
All right, that's much better. I think maybe we're just having some issues in our channel here, but we did seem to get it worked out there. I do apologize. Your mic was cutting in and out for me, and I guess I couldn't. You couldn't hear me as well. So I think
it was my connection. I just looked. My ping was somewhere around 5,000. Never a good sign.
Hey, that's all right. We're not here to point the fingers of blame. We're just here to have a good time. And so, nonetheless, it does appear that we have those difficulties worked out. But yeah, I mean, Lincoln able to steamroll there. It's kind of to be expected. Unfortunately for Silas right now, having to play a member down. I don't know if maybe they're just not available or if there's just some technical difficulties there in-house. But right now, having to play a player down is just a very tough position to be in.
Absolutely. Put me in, coach. I don't know what the WSSEA rules are, but at this point, I'll go lace up. I'll go jam some DPS character. Who's to say, man?
Hey, why not? I'd like to see out there. He's probably talented enough to be able to play and cast. I wouldn't put it past him.
I remember that I would use to self-cast Mundo Dodgeball back in the realm of League of Legends. Whenever the teams were running late, it would be me and the other caster, and we'd both cast our movements while playing. That was a fun time, but yeah, right now it is just going to be that awkward position where it's Silas moving in 4v5 on the Brigitte and the Mercy here, so all that burden for damage is going to be on Bodemon. You got Dingo on the Orisa, which is relatively self-sufficient, so I like this call, but there's just only so much you can do when you're down such a significant share of power so early on.
Yeah, it's just tough to be outnumbered, especially in a game like Valorant where everybody has a role to fill, and that's very crucial. But I think with that Brigitte here, able to maybe kind of help a little bit with that tank role while supplementing in some heals. So we'll see if maybe they could sneak a win or two away here. But again, it's just going to be really, really tough against this talented Lincoln High School squad.
Yeah, that's already 2 dead. Great Ana nade to anti-heal 2 players. Godslayer is going to go down as well, and Dingo is going to fall. The problem is you just don't have much maneuverability on Dingo or Godslayer, and so as soon as you kill a squishy backline that is actually able to escape, like the Mercy or the Soldier 76, there is absolutely no way they aren't losing all 4 members at once. And so given that that dynamic is at play here, we are seeing exactly the same thing play out as what happened on Hanaoko, right? Multiple players on the blue squad are going to get up towards their ultimate a little bit quicker, and given that there's really no way for Silas to force themselves onto the point, what that means is that there's no time to prolong the game so you could get to your own game-defining ults. We just see how strong of a lock right now it is Lincoln keeping themselves on the point, not needing to do much. Taka here gonna feel themselves just a little bit alongside silly little Goob, but right now Alexander's in no danger getting dove, is just gonna pepper the back line. Res is gonna come off here by Foxheart, trying to keep everybody alive. Another Ana nade is going to take the soldier to the brink, but they will stabilize. Good job picking up this health back. We are seeing really solid individual play out of the side of Silas. It just doesn't matter, Hot Sauce.
Yeah, I mean, we know they have the skill. We've seen them dominate before. They're 1-0 on the season. But again, in a game like Overwatch, it's truly important to have all 5 members there. But I got to give my hats toward them. I mean, they came out here to fight it out tooth and nail, even being down a member. So, you know, at least they're willing to go out there and just give it the old college try. And that's great to see. But again, like you said, it's tough to do. Their lack of mobility powered with the fact that they're going against the mobility of a Doomfist. Genji able to kind of jump in there, find those picks, get out if they need to. And it's a lot for them to deal with as a 4-member squad.
Absolutely, and I don't know exactly what the rulebook says about concessions, but the fact that Silas is demonstrating such fighting spirit, not just conceding away these maps, but instead deciding to play this out in front of everybody, has to be commended. In fact, they are going to get a pick here, and once again, is that Soldier 76 going down. Silly little Goob is doing such a good job just bogarting both of these supports all the way back, and that means that Dingo is all alone to get anti-healed and proc below half health. Silly little Goob continuing to forge forward here, charging up the punch. Great stun up against the wall. Oh, at the end of the day, it's a Brigitte versus a Doomfist. There's only so much you can do in this situation.
Yeah, you know, I think just doing a good job though of buying time over there, right? We saw Silas able to get at least 23% on the board, which is, you know, it speaks volume for them, as you mentioned, just coming out here and kind of fighting tooth and nail through the end, not willing to give up or go silently into the night, as they say. And so we find them having a little bit of success here, even with a member down. But you know, you have to do it consistently, and it's just hard to do it consistently with that player down. So we will see Lincoln take control. The overtime fuse will be lit, and it's only a matter of time before they take map 1 here in this sub-series.
Congratulations to Silas for getting 23% on the board in that game. That itself is a titanic effort, given the position that they've unfortunately been put in throughout this WSSEA series. So, Hot Sauce, I don't think that this is necessarily going to have any shot of getting evened up here. But you know what? Credit is where credit is due. Look at that across the map. All the new freak artwork coming on in. It's very weird because I think I'm just too League of Legends pilled, but it looks like Jinx's graffiti in Arcane, you know? And then it's combined with the name Freak. Freak was like one of the GOAT play-by-play commentators, and now he's a dev at League of Legends. And so that's all that it reminds me of here in this game.
Hey, I like the Arcane, so I enjoy that style of art. But nonetheless, I think you're right. I think it's going to be tough for Silas to tie this up. It's not impossible, but highly improbable. But you know, you like to see him, like we said, just out here fighting to the end, just at a bare minimum, hopefully having a little bit of fun. And they can say, you know, hey, in a 4v5, we walked away with at least 23% in that previous one. Let's see what we can get here. Maybe we can shoot for 50 or something a little higher.
Yep. That being said, we are going to get a bit of an alteration onto Silas' side in regards to Foxheart going over to this Moira. I like this call. You're lacking damage. This could be a way to bring it back. Unfortunately, Bo Demon's already dead. Moira is going to fall as well. And this is the exact same pattern for that first team fight that we saw in map number 1, right? It was just a matter of the 2 supports trying to forge on in, getting punished, and now it's only Bo Demon that's going to be able to slink away. So that's an early cap. Once again, setting up for an absolutely dominant showing here from Lincoln High School Tacoma.
Yeah, Taka doing it on the Genji, now on the Tracer here as well. But I have to agree, I like the swap to Moira. You still have the ability to put out the healing numbers in bunches, but now you have the ability to kind of supplement some big damage as well when played correctly. Fortunately, having to loop around here to look to get back behind this team here now is an opportunity, but not the most ideal thing in a 5v1 situation to have Moira out there.
Yet again, though, you do see that expertise come through. Holding the shift is something that a lot of Moira players who are newer to the game just feel unable to do. They get a little bit panicky. They jam it early. Here, Foxheart was able to use that to get out of dodge after taking a bit of damage, so good job on that front. In fact, they managed to soften up Pyro, who did go worryingly low there. Alexander is actually going to fall. This is an angle for the red squad to try to do something. Bo Demon is dead. Foxheart has to get away to a foxhole in order to get that health back up. and so now that window of value has passed by once again. Taka has their ultimate available, gonna drop it. Nothing gonna happen in kind though. It's actually gonna be Killer Stags going down to Dingo's ultimate here on the Orisa, allowing for this hero to forge forward onto the point. Unfortunately, there's just no backup once again, and so Silas continue to fall like dominoes, and now it's 77% hot sauce. I think this may be the end of the series.
Yeah, unfortunately, now they've really begun to kind of pressure through and power forward here as they continue to collect point on or percentage on the point, but they're just eating up so much space as well. So as Silas continues to stagger out, they find a way to continuously pick them off. That is what allowed Silas to kind of get behind them and get on the point and get some percentage last time. So maybe they'll have an opportunity to sneak behind, but it doesn't look like it. We see the 10-player kill streak. The overtime fuse is lit. Someone has snuck behind, but it's only a matter of time, and unfortunately, just not going to happen without that extra 5th player. Lincoln able to take that second one as well.
Well, congratulations to Lincoln High School Tacoma, who I think have demonstrated in their own right by picking some very skill-intensive characters that they are also a top contender here in WSSEA. This is just unfortunately not the Clash of Titans that we were hoping to see today, Hot Sauce. The fact that Silas was always down that singular player means that neither team was able to fully show their level of expertise, but I am certain that if both of these teams can keep their heads above water and we get rematches around playoff times, that this could be a real battle for the ages.
Yeah, you know, Lincoln showed that they're a very talented team, and I think Silas showed the same, and a lot of determination, a lot of heart to go out there and play a player down. So, you know, hats off to both of the teams. I certainly look forward to watching them as they progress throughout the regular season here as well. I think that's always fun to watch, kind of how these teams grow and the growth that they make throughout that regular season.
Absolutely. You know, we're all about growth here. That is a common thread that we continue to tease out time and time again, Hot Sauce. And here, I really do think that it is still a matter of all these teams trying to build together as a cohesive unit. I think that we didn't really see any holes in either game plan for what it was. It just is the fact that whenever you have to draft a game plan around 4 players, you are going to lose. So I do hope that we get to see Silas come back once again for redemption time once they get the full roster available. But also, Lincoln High School Tacoma also deserve their flowers as a team that, given the situation, made the most of it to really demonstrate their level of expertise within Overwatch 2.
Yeah, you know, and it was a great day of Overwatch for us, at least. We got to have fun in the booth, but unfortunately, it's going to be short and sweet. That's going to be all for us here tonight. I know they've got Street Fighter tomorrow at 4 p.m. Pacific as well. We do want to thank ZOTAC, LANFest, and Seattle Built PCs one more time, as well as everybody behind the scenes helping everything run so smoothly, from Connie to Jaden to Taylor as well. We couldn't do it without you. And of course, we'd like to thank each and every one of you at home watching, whether it's the teachers, the students, the parents, the friends, the family. We certainly appreciate everyone kind of showing up, showing out, and showing their support. So we thank you for that. We hope everybody has a wonderful evening, and we look forward to seeing you back here tomorrow at 4 p.m. Pacific. Take care, everyone.